She thought I was powerless from thousands of miles away, but she had no idea I was just getting started. Let me take you back a bit. My name is Ethan. I used to believe in people too easily, especially in Claire. We met in Chicago a few years ago, and back then, it felt like magic. You know that feeling when someone just gets you? That was Claire. Smart, charming, funny. The kind of person who could walk into a room and make everyone look her way. I fell for her hard. We were building a life together, not just emotionally, but literally. A shared apartment, shared business ideas, even talks about marriage. At the time, it felt like we were building a future, brick by brick. But things changed. Slowly at first.
Claire got a job opportunity in Los Angeles. Something big, something she said would help both of us in the long run. I supported her, of course. I always did. We agreed to try long distance for a while, just until she was settled. I told her, "Go chase it. I'll be right here." And I meant it. But when she left, it was like I disappeared from her world. Calls became less frequent. Messages turned cold. She was too busy, always in meetings, always trying to adjust. I gave her space, maybe too much space. Then came the silence. Full-on radio silence. Weeks without a word. I tried calling, texting, emailing, nothing. One day her number was disconnected. Her social media, gone or blocked. It was like I never existed. It hit me hard. I wasn't just hurt. I was confused, angry. I started digging around, trying to find out what happened. That's when I found her, smiling, laughing, living her best life in LA. New friends, new place, new job. And the worst part? She was presenting my ideas, our business concept, as if it was hers from the start. It felt like betrayal on top of betrayal. And from where I stood, stuck thousands of miles away, there was nothing I could do. No way to confront her. No way to get back what she took. Everyone around me kept saying, "Let it go, man. Start over." But how do you just let go when someone erases you like you were nothing? That was the moment it all sank in. She thought I was powerless. She thought I had no way to fight back, no voice, no platform, no chance. And maybe for a while she was right. I didn't even know where to start. But I wasn't helpless. I was hurt, not broken. There's a big difference. I spent the next few weeks trying to collect myself. I stopped reaching out to her. I stopped checking her posts, or what little I could see through mutual friends. I went quiet, not because I was defeated, but because I needed to breathe, to think, to plan. I wasn't going to react with anger. I wasn't going to play the victim. I was going to find my own way back, and she'd never see it coming. She didn't just leave. She erased me. After she moved to LA, it felt like I was losing her little by little, but I still had hope. I kept thinking maybe things would turn around. Maybe she just needed time. Maybe she was overwhelmed. But that hope didn't last. One day, I found out she had changed the passwords to all the shared accounts we had. Our joint email, our business files, even the online folders where we stored documents for the startup idea we were working on together. I had helped build all of that. I had written most of it. I had paid for half of it. And just like that, I was locked out. No warning, no message, just gone. I couldn't even prove it was mine anymore. She took the files, renamed them, added her own touches, and started presenting them as her own. I watched from a distance as she shared her business story in podcasts and online posts. People were congratulating her, saying how brilliant her idea was, the same one we brainstormed for months at our kitchen table. And then there was the personal side. Claire started telling people I was toxic, that I was controlling, that she had to escape me to save herself. That part hit the hardest, because anyone who knew me, really knew me, would never believe that. But the people in her new world didn't know me. They only knew what she told them, and she told them I was the villain. Meanwhile, I never said a word about her. I kept quiet, thinking maybe she'd come around. Maybe she'd explain. She never did. I even reached out to one of our mutual friends, Brian. I asked him if he knew what was going on. He paused for a second and said, "Man, I think you should just move on. She's not the person you thought she was." That one line stuck with me, because he was right. She wasn't the person I fell in love with anymore. She wasn't the Claire who used to stay up late helping me sketch out business plans on napkins. She wasn't the Claire who cried on my shoulder when her job stressed her out. She had become someone else, someone who didn't mind stepping on others to climb higher. She deleted our photos from social media, unfollowed every friend we shared. She even moved to a new apartment and didn't tell anyone where. I was completely cut off. It wasn't just a breakup, it was a wipeout. It felt like she wanted to erase every trace of our life together, like I was some mistake she wanted to pretend never happened. And I'll be honest, that crushed me. There's a special kind of pain in knowing someone is rewriting your story while you're still living it. But even in all that silence, I still had one thing she didn't know. I remembered everything. Every idea, every detail, every lie she told to make herself look better. She thought I was gone, but I wasn't gone. I was just quiet. And when you stay quiet long enough, you start to see things differently. You see patterns, you see cracks, you see where the truth begins and where the lies start falling apart. And that's when something inside me shifted. I stopped asking why she did what she did. I stopped trying to make sense of it. I accepted that she wanted me out of the picture. But what she didn't know is that I still had one move left. I wasn't helpless. I was just waiting. After Claire cut me off, lied about me, and stole everything we built together, it felt like I had nothing. But deep down, I knew I wasn't done. I just didn't know yet what I was going to do. So I waited. Not the kind of waiting where you sit around feeling sorry for yourself. No, I started paying attention. I stopped chasing her. I stopped asking questions. And for the first time in months, I turned all that energy back toward myself. I needed to get stronger, not just for revenge, but for me. At first, it was small stuff. Cleaning up my place, fixing things I'd been ignoring. Then I got more focused. I started working out again, eating better, sleeping more. I started talking to old friends I hadn't spoken to in a while, people who actually cared about me. And little by little, I began to feel like myself again. The fog was clearing. And as that happened, I started seeing Claire's world more clearly too. From a distance, of course. I wasn't spying or obsessing, but I kept an eye on things. Social media, public posts, news from mutual friends. Just enough to know what was happening. She was flying high. At least on the outside. She'd started her own company. The same idea we worked on together. She was doing interviews, getting attention online, and everyone was calling her a genius. It was hard to watch at first. It felt unfair. But then, I started noticing things. Small details. In one interview, she described the origin of the company, and it didn't match the truth. In another, she mentioned strategies that I knew were mine, word for word. She even used some exact phrases from our old pitch deck, the one I created. I saved everything. I had emails, messages, drafts, even voice notes where we planned things together. She had erased me from her story, but the evidence still existed. She didn't know what I still had, and that gave me strength. I wasn't going to act right away. I knew this wasn't the kind of thing you fight with emotion. This needed patience, strategy, timing. So I waited. While she smiled for cameras and posed for praise, I kept building my case quietly. I spoke to a friend who worked in legal. Just casually at first. No big move yet. I wanted to know my options. He gave me some guidance, told me to stay smart, stay calm, and collect everything. That's exactly what I did. I didn't post anything. I didn't call her out. I didn't even tell anyone what I was doing. On the surface, it looked like I had moved on, maybe even given up. But inside, I was sharpening my focus. Because here's what I knew. The truth always has a way of coming out. And when it does, it doesn't whisper. It hits like thunder. She thought she had won. She thought I was too far away to matter, too quiet to fight back, too broken to rise. But I wasn't broken. I was watching. I was learning. And I was waiting for the perfect moment. The moment when her fake story would meet the truth I still held in my hands. Her perfect world had cracks. On the outside, Claire looked untouchable. Her company was growing. Her posts were full of smiles, success stories, and motivational quotes. She was traveling, speaking at events, and gaining followers by the thousands. But if you looked a little closer, something didn't feel right. The more I watched, the more I noticed it. In one podcast, she talked about her journey, but this time, she slipped up. She mentioned a moment that I knew hadn't happened, not the way she told it. She changed the story, made herself the hero, and left out everyone else, especially me. That's when I realized she was starting to lose control of the lie. It's one thing to fake a story once. It's another thing to live inside that lie every single day. Eventually something breaks. And for Claire, it was starting to show. I noticed she started turning off comments on her posts. At first, I thought it was just to stay focused. But later, I found out that some people had started asking questions. Small things. About her timeline, her experience, her team. Nothing aggressive, but enough to make her nervous. Then, something else happened. An old friend of mine, someone who used to work with both of us, sent me a message. We hadn't talked in a long time. He said, "Hey man, I just listened to Claire on this interview. She said a few things that didn't sit right with me. Weren't those your strategies?" I didn't answer right away. I just said, "Interesting." But inside, I knew the cracks were getting deeper. A few weeks later, I heard from someone else, a writer who was doing a story on rising entrepreneurs. She had reached out to Claire for an interview, but Claire refused. The writer said something felt off about her and started digging around on her own. That's when she found one of my old business blog posts, something I wrote way before Claire even moved to LA. It had similar language to the ideas Claire was now calling her own. The writer reached out to me. She said, "Did you work with Claire on this project? Because it seems like your work matches a lot of what she's doing." I kept calm. I told her, "We used to work together, yes. There's more to the story." She asked if I'd be willing to talk. I said yes, but only when the time was right. I wasn't rushing anything. I still wasn't trying to attack Claire. I just wanted the truth to come out. The real story. I wanted people to know that I existed, that my work mattered, that I wasn't some ghost from her past. And slowly, that's what started to happen. People were noticing the holes in her story. Her answers didn't always line up. Her interviews started sounding rehearsed, cold. Her posts stopped getting the same love. Some followers started asking where her original team was. Why didn't she mention them anymore? I didn't say a word. I just watched it all unfold, piece by piece, quietly, patiently. Because here's the thing about lies. You have to keep adding more just to cover the first one. And eventually, even the best storytellers forget which part was real and which part they made up. She thought she had built a perfect world, but I could see the cracks, and I knew exactly where to push when the time came. The move she never saw coming. After watching Claire's world slowly start to crack, I knew the moment was near. I wasn't rushing, but I was ready. I had everything I needed: proof, support, and most importantly, the patience to wait for the right time. Then the day came. I made my move. It wasn't loud or messy like you might expect. No shouting matches or public fights. I kept it calm, professional, precise. I reached out to a lawyer who specialized in intellectual property and business disputes. I handed over every piece of evidence I had: the emails, the files, the old messages where Claire and I planned everything together. Everything she tried to erase, I still had. We filed a case, not to get revenge, but to get justice. At first, Claire acted like nothing was happening. She kept posting on social media, smiling, pretending her world was perfect. But behind the scenes, things started to change. Her lawyer called mine. The truth was coming out. She was forced to explain herself in ways she never thought she would. I saw her carefully worded statements, her attempts to deny what she had done. But the evidence was clear. There was no way to hide it. What surprised me the most wasn't the legal battle itself. It was how quickly her perfect image began to fall apart. The media picked up the story. People started talking about it online. The followers who once praised her began to question everything. The interviews that seemed rehearsed before now looked desperate. And Claire? She was panicking. She started deleting posts, stopped replying to messages. She even canceled events she was supposed to speak at. It was clear the pressure was getting to her, but I stayed calm. I didn't need to celebrate or gloat. I knew this wasn't just about winning a fight. It was about setting things right. The final blow came when the court ruled in my favor. She was ordered to return what she had taken, our shared work, the business rights, and to publicly acknowledge the truth. It was more than just a legal win. It was a moment of truth. I remember seeing her reaction the first time she read the court's decision. Shock, disbelief, a sense of defeat. That's when I knew I had done what I needed to do. She thought I was powerless, watching from thousands of miles away. But I had one move left, and that move won everything. She lost everything she stole. After the court's decision, things changed fast. Claire had no choice but to follow the orders. She had to give back the business rights, the ideas, and the proof that the company was built on both of our hard work. It wasn't easy for her. She tried to fight back quietly, but the facts were clear. The evidence was on my side. No more hiding or pretending. More importantly, her reputation took a big hit. The people who once admired her started to question everything. Friends, followers, even investors pulled away. The truth had come out, and there was no fixing the damage. For me, this wasn't just about winning back what was mine. It was about clearing my name, about showing everyone that even from far away, even when it seemed like I had no power, I still had a voice. And I used it. I started rebuilding, slowly but surely. I reached out to old friends and new contacts. I shared my story honestly, not to hurt Claire, but to inspire people to stand up when they are wronged. Some people asked why I didn't fight back sooner or more loudly. The truth is, I needed time to be ready, to make sure I had a strong case, to make sure I was not just reacting out of anger, but acting with purpose. That made all the difference. Claire's company didn't disappear overnight, but it lost its shine. Investors became careful, partners left. The name she built on lies began to fade. Meanwhile, I started working on my own projects again. With everything clear, with the truth on my side, doors started opening. Opportunities came that I never thought I'd get. And this time, I made sure everything was solid. No shortcuts, no half-truths, just honest hard work. Looking back, I realized that losing Claire wasn't the end. It was the start of something new. She thought distance made me powerless. She thought cutting me out would stop me. But what she didn't see was that power isn't just about being close or loud. Sometimes it's about being patient, being smart, knowing when to wait and when to strike. That one move I had left, it changed everything. Now, when people ask me what I learned from this, I say, never underestimate yourself. Never let someone else's lies define your story. And most of all, don't be afraid to fight back, even if you feel far away and powerless. Because sometimes the quietest moves are the strongest. From powerless to powerful, my final message. This whole experience changed me in ways I never expected. At first, I was lost, confused, and angry. I felt powerless because someone I trusted erased my part of our story, our work, and even my place in her life. But I learned something important. Power isn't about distance or silence. It's about knowing your worth, staying true to yourself, and being ready to fight when the time is right. Claire thought she had me beat by moving thousands of miles away and cutting me off. She thought I was done. But I wasn't. I was just quiet, waiting, watching, planning. That one move I had left wasn't just about winning back what was mine. It was about showing that no matter how far someone tries to push you down or erase you, you can always find a way back up. You just have to believe in yourself. I want to tell anyone listening, if you've ever felt powerless, if someone's tried to erase you or take credit for your hard work, don't give up. Don't let their lies define who you are. Take your time. Be smart. Gather your strength. And when the moment is right, make your move. You don't need to be loud or angry. Sometimes the best victory is quiet and strong, the kind that makes people stop and listen. After all this, I'm not just back. I'm stronger, I'm wiser, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. Because now I know, being powerful doesn't mean having control over everything. It means having control over yourself. And that's something no one can take away, no matter how far they go. So if you're feeling lost or powerless today, remember my story. Remember that even from thousands of miles away, with just one move, you can change everything. Thank you for listening.